go get my light. It be like say, my hands I go shake. It be like say, I can't go. It be like say, let's see how I go land. Oh, good morning, you go make money this morning. Good evening, you go get a lot this evening. Oh, good morning, you go make money this morning. Good evening, you go get a lot this evening. Basket, basket, oh yeah, bongo, no be $1. Basket, basket, oh yeah, zobo, no be $1. Basket, basket, saffron, no be sugar. Basket, basket, oh yeah, zobo, no be $1. It's Graham, Papa. Till tomorrow, of no kind yeah.
Glad to be here again this morning on your station, Vicinity 95.3 FM. Hi on the YouTube of Ikejile. Oluwafunke Israel saying, join us on the morning show.
Yeah, good morning. Thank God for another down. And I am Aisha Ibrahim on the morning show. Do join us on our Facebook and YouTube page at Vicinity 95.3 FM.
Yeah, this morning let's look at a current report on international community of the Red Cross. Speaking about food insecurity. It's not the first time that this is not new to us. It's not new to our country, Nigeria. It's not new to the situation around us. It's just something that we have been battling for a long time, and states are also, rising up to the challenge, seeing how they can, and do, productivity in the aspect of agriculture, and see that they get to minimize the impact. Now go to Ogun. Reveal that it's providing materials, irrigation materials and other kind of support for farmers to see that if they boost food production, this will help reduce inflation in food prices. And these are ways we can kind of help or boost agriculture productivity in the country. But let's go to the north. When we talk about the north, there are a number of times, we see trucks, move from the north to other parts of the country. Bringing in food,
Yes.
because we know, of course, across Nigeria, we're blessed to have food that we produce, locally. When you talk about the north, it's they also have. You talk about tomatoes, onions. Yes, some of our food here, it's widely grown in the north. And now there are increasing fears and agitation across, conflict-affected areas. Like we know, conflict will never do anything good for a common man, even for the person in the highest position ever. If you're in conflict, you know that at that point you can't be thinking about any form of stability. So at this point, our concerns have been raised across conflict-affected areas in the Northeast, saying that over more than 3.7 million people face food insecurity, and many of them farmers who once nourished their communities. Years of conflict have displaced families, restricted their access to farmland, and disrupted local food production. Just recently, EU decided to give humanitarian support to Northeast, saying they are going to release funds, to support internally displaced persons, and support the cost to see the return to their own, not just flood, those affected, by one issue of insecurity or another. And at this point, concerns have been raised by, community leaders in the Northeast, saying that there is going to be severe food shortages. Now let's, just take a glance away from Nigeria. Talk about South Sudan, talk about other countries, in conflicts or also combating issues of terrorism and extremism. You know, there's this point where we hear even humanitarian aid is not being supported as it should be.
Yes.
And at this point, you know, even people who are internally displaced do not have enough food to go around. I know food is very essential, you know, it's very essential. It's one of the most essential thing of life. When you talk about shelter, you do food. I think you even pick food first, then shelter.
Yes. So
Yeah. And then you move to other basic needs of life. Food is
Yeah.
a basic need, even while we have to make money to buy food. But at this point, even if you have money and you can't get food, you know what this means. So there is demand, but there is no supply. And concerns have been raised around this because communities are saying insecurity has severely limited farmers' movement. And of course, some of these farmers even have to go back, walk to their farms, not thinking about the kilometers they will have to walk, you know, to do all these things. You know, this is the time the government is supposed to rise up to support farmers and or other groups who are seen to, you know, growing crops and are supporting the agriculture in the country. And and we know what contributes to food insecurity. You know, other factors that affect food insecurity to fall in malnutrition, pregnant, breastfeeding women. You know, in these communities, affected communities, you know, they would face difficulty in one aspect or another. And when there is no stability, you know, to support this malnutrition in a way that, okay, let's find a way to work around it.
Yes.
And you see, people that have not eaten, that will be thinking about education. So that's another thing we should think about. So these people are common human who are just dedicated, you know, to their own work and to their means of livelihood, which is farming. At this point, they don't even, they can't, the means of livelihood
Farm again.
is not sustainable one. They are displaced too. There's no way, there is no enough, there's food insecurity challenge. And if a farmer cannot eat, is it me that will eat? When the farmer is struggling to eat.
Because they're like
So
the source of this.
yeah, so that's one thing. I'm not saying I will not eat if farmers don't work, but you know what this means. I will buy double what I used to buy at a normal price. And at the end of the day, I might not even be able, you know, to get what I want. I just have to meet a need, not the want. And concerns have been raised, you know, over this increase in food insecurity and how we're going to tackle it. You know, you can join the conversation on Facebook at Vicinity 95.3 FM and also join our YouTube channel at Vicinity 95.3 FM. How do you think we can address this? It's not something that started today. Since we have been dealing with the issues of insecurity, elders farmers clash, you know, over time, you know, numbering years now, you know, this issue has persisted because if we don't address a particular, you know, issue affecting other areas, of course, the other problems will persist. But when we address a particular cause of something, then we know that if insecurity,
like
if insecurity is addressed, yeah, you know that this will further give, you know, farmers peace, you know, to return to their farms and do what they have to do. If we resolve the issue of farmer elders crisis, you know, or either we're going to, you know, find a way to just do something to solve this issue. You know, it would further answer or solve other concerns around them, you know, insecurity, you know, insecurity, food insecurity, other forms of insecurity, you know, really it's challenging at this time. And concerns have been raised. It's not just in Nigeria, in other African nations that are battling extremism, banditry, and all of that. War, you know, go to DR Congo. Well, thankfully, they have decided, you know, to make a peace path, you know, saying that, okay, we're going to down, you know, our weapons and see how we can talk with the Democratic Republic of Congo authorities to see that. And war is not good for anyone, you know. War is not good for any country. And at this point, when we look at the African continent, there are issues we still even have on our hands. But the issue of insecurity has continued, to make resolving other, challenges in our nation, because a lot is being poured into insecurity, how to address insecurity. And this is not, I'm not saying the government are not looking into other aspects of, the economy and trying to, meet the demands there. But of course,
once there's
when we don't hear anything about killing or whatsoever, we just think, oh, everything is going good. Until we hear, a case or two, and we start to say, oh, this is security, then we all start to condemn, start to write statements, and then give statements, give marching order. But this enough, to address the situation before us. You can join the conversation this morning. Your number to call 081-3237-1268, 081-3237-1268. We'll leave a comment on our Facebook at Vicinity 95.3 FM. Join us live on YouTube as well. Do well to call us. We want to hear your view on this matter this morning.
Hey, 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 them no understand what you face on your own when you run your race. No one can see it, no one can fail, but to keep it cool, 'cause you're trying to keep it real. You don't make time too long.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Babatunde is my name.
Yeah, good morning to you. That's good.
And I'm speaking from Malaysia.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
You know, the talk for today is very important, food security. And we found out that apart from individual nations, internationally, it is the interest of the, world, leaders around the world, to be able to provide food in quality and quantity to their citizens. But we find out that this day the problem is becoming very difficult. See the situation of FAO, the World Food Program, and many international organizations. They want to provide food for people in war zones, displaced people, and all the rest. This has been their activities all over the world. And in Nigeria, we find out that we are blessed. And the situation of providing food, by value of, what we have naturally, we are blessed. For example, now, there are some situations where some food items can only be produced in quality and quantity in the north. There are some that can be produced in the south. If, for example, now yam and all the rest, cereals, cowpea, rice and all the rest can be produced in the north where they have all production inputs. But we find out that today now things are changing. Research has made it possible for us to have different types of food items for different localities, different soils, different regions in Nigeria. And the government is trying. The government is trying, but the insecurity right now is what is the problem. For example, when I was in the north, you find out that the marketplaces, every marketplace of insecurity cannot, actually help the distribution and transportation because the petroleum cost right now is another problem. If somebody has to transport food from Kano, where they produce food, to here in the west or in the south, you find out that the cost of transporting is even more than what the gain the person will get. And that's the problem. And the insecurity of this Boko Haram and terrorism now is another thing that will not help farmers. We understand sometimes ago in Maiduguri where some rice farmers, had the problem of terrorists coming to their farm and killing many of them. So this situation, at least I've been to Sokoto and I've gone to, a place where they produce onions. You can't buy onion in the market now. It's very costly. If they produce onion in Gadawa, in Sokoto there, Gada in Sokoto there, and they have to transport it here to Oshu. I learned from, a trader that the cost of transportation is a problem. And that will make it even more hard. The cost of transportation of tomato from Kano or wherever in Kaduna where it is produced down here to the west is costly. And it will not bring any gain to any trader. You cannot be you may not be a farmer and still sell, food items. Depending on how experienced you are. So if you buy some, for example, in Sabo there, I'm very close to the traders there who sell tomato and carrot and all the rest and alubosa. You find out that, the cost of getting it from where they produce it, and this comparative advantage of production is also something that can help us. There are some advantaged places which have good soil, for example, yam now is taken to the north. You have oil palm, which is good, well produced. The south has comparative advantage of producing oil. They come here, they buy Gary too. They come here, take it to the north, oil palm, and all the rest. So we just found out that we are in a problem which we should find way of finding solution to at this present time.
How do you think the government can address this?
I beg your pardon?
How do you think, the government stakeholders in the sector can
I
address?
think we don't actually, we have to sit down and know what is actually happening. It's not something that, it's not something that has to, the government, for example, when the president came in, he did everything to release food from the silo. And we have the strategic grain department here in Nigeria, where during production, during harvesting, they buy seed and store in the silo. The strategic grain is there in Abuja. And I think I have the opportunity of working with them. They have it in every state, in every state, north and south, they have strategic grain ministry that, where they store food, and when there's, lean something, they bring it out. So what I think, what we have to do actually, apart from, this producing food by yourself, the government still have the part to play to produce, to bring the food, to the market, so that at least people will have it in abundance. And the economics of sales is another thing. When there is any loading or there's any slim something in food production, you find out that the cost is high. When the food is not there and people are many to buy, to buy it and they don't have it to buy, the traders increase the price. And with it's really something very tricky. We have to be careful, or else we start blaming the government. See here, I produced I have to take it out to sell.
Mm.
And people waste it. If I don't harvest it in time, it goes, hardy,
Yeah.
and we don't buy it.
Mm.
And if I have to sell it, I find out that if I have to sell it by myself, I earn more.
Mm.
But if I have to sell it, to, the middleman,
Yeah.
who's just outside my community there, the outside man, he buys it cheap, then he sells it high. So
Mm.
it's just, it's
Yeah,
tricky
it's
thing
just
about
yeah,
business which
it's
we
not
have
just
to actually
a thing on
understand
the
so that
government.
at least
Mm.
we will be able to help the people. But
Mm.
the problem we have to say, the long and short of it is that the government must produce food in quality and quantity to the people. See the time of COVID-19
Mm.
when there was no food.
Yeah.
And there was a program that said, how can we post-COVID-19, how can we help food production?
Mm.
The industry has a part to play too, where they have to convert all the perishable ones. For example, now if you are into vegetable production, there's a farmer here close to me where they produce vegetables, different types of vegetables, the wedu, okra, and calceria, amaranthus, and all the rest.
Mm.
So if they don't sell it in a day, it goes to its spoils.
Mm.
So how do
you
we
reconcile
get the
that?
storage?
Mm.
The storage the storage is another thing.
Yeah,
Tomato,
storage.
we have, when you go to the market now, a lot of traders who bought tomato, and a tomato basket now for now I was told it's going to have between 17,000 to
70,000.
Different times. Some weeks it will come down, some weeks it will go up, depending on how it is easily bought from the source. So this is a problem we have to see that apart from those planting vegetable in the front of your garden or your house garden, the real main something is production for those who actually want to who have the comparative advantage of production. So it's really a problem, and I pray that the solution will come when the irrigation is there, and fertilizer something, and this climate change too is having a problem too. Climate change is having a problem. The money too is having a problem, and it was during Buhari that they gave loans to all farmers to different types of crops, and this helped. In Buhari's period, Buhari gave different types of loans to rice producers, and this gave Nigeria the 14th position in the world in rice production, apart from Thailand and other developed world rice producing countries. So we just have to sit down and see what is happening, what is really happening, and make sure that we provide for the people so that we bring down the cost of price of food items in the market right now. Thank you. God bless you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate your contribution on the show. Have yourself a great day. Yeah, I think that just concludes everything this morning on our program. Oluwafunke Israel. This is how I get to say bye.
Yeah, I'm Aisha. Thanks for bringing the program, the morning show this morning.
Yeah, producer is Abdul Fattah Giwa. Have yourself a delightsome Thursday.
Move.